And you guessed, every week, the best professional wrestling discussion on the internet. World Wrestling Entertainment, TNA Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and much more. This, ladies and gentlemen, is In the Hot Seat with your host, Fortminorproject.
Alright, so welcome to another episode of In the Hot Seat, and this is episode number 4, believe it or not, and decided to combine a lot of things here on today's episode. I do have some thoughts and opinions on AEW Fyter Fest, Nights 1 and 2, and NXT, The Great American Bash, Nights 1 and 2, and also going to be looking to talk about the new United States Championship title design. We are able to see that happen on Raw. And as well with a new video game, since we don't get to see WWE 2K21 this year, we'll see it next year, which is a good thing. And about WWE 2K Battlegrounds, a little bit about that. SummerSlam and where that's going to be also as well. Also talking about rebuilding the women's tag team division in WWE. And as well with Slammiversary coming up pretty soon, and to see who will be showing up and all that good stuff. So that would be looking to be on the podcast for this week, and gonna get right down into it. First with AEW Fyter Fest, and night 1 I feel like was the more enjoyable show out of the 2 nights and everything, since it's normally typically a pay-per-view. Now it's a free preview, if you want to put it that way, for Dynamite, for a special. And the actual first match where we did have Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy were able to go up against MJF and Wardlow on this one, and MJF, trying to find a way and to get the help from Wardlow on this, but in the end, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy were able to get the win, so no complaints really there, so that was fine. The AEW Women's Championship on the line, and we had Sheeta and Penelope Ford, and this one was actually pretty cool, one of my favorite matches as well. Sheeta becoming one of my favorites and everything, and Penelope Ford actually doing her all on this one and everything, coming close, but in the end, of course, Sheeta retains her title, so that was dope there. We also had the AEW TNT Championship, of course, continues to be on the line each and every week, where we had Cody and as well Jake Hager on this one. And even though Jake Hager was trying to get the title and everything, Cody was able to come back and still remain TNT champion. So I'm sure this feud will actually continue. I can see that happening. Also, Private Party were able to face off against Santina and Ortiz on this one. And these two teams, going back and forth and everything. And with this, it was kind of hard to tell who I wanted to win, but having Private Party get the win, which was fine there. So there is that. And of course, the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line, Hangman Adam Page and as well Kenny Omega taking on Best Friends on this one. I would have liked to see Best Friends get the win on this one and to get the tag team titles, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point. But Hangman Page and of course Kenny Omega were able to retain and everything, so that makes sense and that's fine and fair there. And where we're supposed to see Jon Moxley and Brian Cage there, it didn't get to happen obviously, so we'll see that at Fight for the Fallen 2, so that's going to be what's going to be happening the most. Alright, so then we get into AEW Fyter Fest for night 2. I really felt like not a whole lot, really too much happened, but that's just me, and I enjoyed night 1 a lot more. But with this, where we had tag team action with the Lucha Bros, Butcher and the Blade, FTR, formerly known as the Revival, taking on them, and then as well they were able to team with the Young Bucks as well in this one, and a really cool match. Of course, the AEW tag team division being stacked and everything, and I thought this was definitely one of the cooler matches too, especially for night 2 and everything. But we had Lucha Bros and Butcher and the Blade getting a win. I guess that's fine, no really too many complaints there, so that was pretty badass there. We had Nyla Rose in action, basically getting a win there against King and Page, basically in the handicap match, so doing kind of like quick work in a way, and hoping to actually deal with Sheeta for the AEW Women's title. So there's that. Also, again, another tag team match where we had SCU taking on the Dark Order and Colt Cabana. And of course, still not sure if he wants to join the Dark Order. It seems to be that it looks like he is going to be that next member to be with him. It feels like that more and more, even though he's not really too sure about it, but it seems like he's actually working pretty well with him. So we'll see where that goes. So that's been pretty interesting there, to see where that's been going and everything. Of course, the Dark Order was able to get their win. And of course, with the main event, Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho on this one, and seeing Orange Cassidy wrestle more, and it's been pretty much like a rare treat. Don't really realize how good he is until he actually wrestles and everything, and for quite a while we didn't get to see that out of him, but now we're getting to see it a little bit more often. And this is actually a cool feud setup between the two and everything, and where you thought Orange Cassidy would actually get his payback. Not quite. Chris Jericho comes back and actually gets the win. Kinda sucks, but it is what it is, and not really too mad at that. But Chris Jericho getting one to see where things are going to be going with both of them. It might continue, I don't know. I can kind of see that, but that's pretty much it for night 2 and everything. Of course, Jon Moxley and Brian Cage didn't get to happen. We'll get to see that for the next show and everything, which is this upcoming week and everything, for Fight for the Fallen, I do believe. So we'll see how that turns about. And I know we were able to see Taz's championship actually be revealed to Brian Cage, so with his title and everything. So it wasn't really too much needed, but having, I guess, bragging rights for Brian Cage. So there's that. Alright, so from AEW we move on to WWE with WWE NXT, the Great American Bash. It really feels good to actually say that again, and I didn't expect it to actually come back. It wasn't really a takeover, it was just basically going head to head with AEW Fyter Fest at the same time, basically. So hopefully we will get to see it as a pay-per-view for a takeover in July. We don't get to see takeovers too much, but I think that'd be really cool. And the setup was really awesome as well. They had the red, white, and blue ropes and everything, and the whole kind of setup for with the cars and stuff, so that was really cool. And in the first match, where we had the #1 contenders match, a fatal 4-way elimination match, and we did have Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, a lot going on in this one. One of my favorite matches of the Great American Bash for both nights. And with this one, I at first thought it would have went to Dakota Kai. I could have saw that happening. Maybe Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, really any of these women. So I ended up going to Tegan Nox being the #1 contender, so that was pretty shocking. Didn't expect to see it happen, but we'll see where that goes and everything. So that was pretty interesting and a shock there. Then when we had Timothy Thatcher and Oney Lorcan, basically a fist fight between these two. Really interesting stuff, and I'm kind of growing to actually like Timothy Thatcher, and he actually won by submission on this one, so I kind of want to see what they're going to be doing things with him and everything, and how that's going to be turning about. I feel like he could be almost like a third member between Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch if they wanted to, but if they're going to feud it out, hey, that's going to be cool. Then we had a 2-on-1 handicap match, Rhea Ripley and Aaliyah and Robert Stone on this one and everything, and basically in a way all Rhea Ripley, not really bothered too much and everything, so kind of like an intergender match, and I didn't really expect WWE to do this first time in a long time, so I could kind of see them doing somewhat more of this, so that depends and remains to be seen. Then we had a rare strap match, Roderick Strong and Dexter Lumis, and Dexter Lumis has come a long way since Impact, I think, definitely for sure, and Roderick Strong being weirded out and creeped out by Dexter Lumis and everything, trying to escape and get away, but Dexter Lumis gets a win, so we'll see how things do now for Roderick Strong and to basically get over his fears and everything from Dexter Lumis. And of course, with this one, with the women's match, the next one And of course, where we had Io Shirai and Sasha Banks going head to head, which was badass and everything. And for Io Shirai to actually get the win, which is really cool, and it's been really awesome seeing her as the NXT Women's Champion. Of course, Asuka coming into play, returning home, if you will, to NXT, and actually help out Io Shirai there. Of course, Io dealing with not just Sasha Banks out there, but Bayley, who's been really been on all three brands and everything, you know, just running things, which I love. So I want to see more of that and everything. So that's been going really damn well. Who knows if they'll have the feud or not at this point, since they've been on a roll. But Io Shirai might be in a team with Asuka now. Who knows, especially what's been going on with Kairi Sane, rumored to actually be going back home to Japan. So I know she was able to show up on Raw recently, so that remains to be seen and everything. Hopefully we'll see more out of her, but that's for another time. So that was night one of NXT, the Great American Bash and everything. So much like AEW Fyter Fest, I enjoyed night one as well for the Great American Bash. Alright, so then we go into night two, and with this one we had another women's match, and where we had the street fight between Candice LeRae and as well Mia Yim. These two basically looking to tear each other apart and basically use everything that they can in the street fight, from the steel chairs, obviously, the trash cans, table at one point and everything. You know, basically going a little bit of everywhere, and Candice LeRae actually getting what was hers and getting the win there. So there's that cool stuff, definitely for sure. Then we get into Bronson Reed and as well Tony Nese on this one, and it was kind of weird because Tony Nese basically having a little bit of a change in heart, basically on 205 Live, but in this one he was more like kind of getting aggressive and stuff like that. But Bronson Reed actually getting the win there, so that was a little surprising to see how that happened, and pretty interesting, I guess, there. Then we had Johnny Gargano and Isaiah Swerve Scott on this one, and it was nice to see Swerve Scott actually do a lot more, especially him being also on Tier 5 Live. And this one was pretty cool to see them go back and forth, and Johnny Gargano actually getting his one there. Then we had the tag team match with this one, Breeze Dangle recently being able to do things as a tag team again, which is really cool. And something different seeing them on NXT besides the main roster. They were able to team with Drake Maverick and as well Legado del Fantasma on this one. And this whole stable, I didn't think I would like it that much and everything, so it kind of just came out of nowhere in a way. But with this one, this tag team match was actually pretty damn cool, and we actually have, of course, Legado del Fantasma actually getting the win. So I'm sure him and Drake Maverick aren't done, and I'm sure they'll have a match for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship at some point, and we'll see what happens there. Then we had Mercedes Martinez returning, which is really cool and adds a lot more to the women's division against Santana Garrett and everything. Hopefully they do more with her. And this one basically all Mercedes Martinez actually dominating, and to see where things are going to go. It seems like she's a heel on this, so that's cool. And I want to see who she's going to be feuding with next, since the last time we saw was basically in the Mania Classic. So hopefully that's again something else that would be able to return. And then we get into the main event, winner takes all title match. NXT North American Champion, obviously Keith Lee, and NXT Champion Adam Cole on this one. And in a rare, almost in a way, champion versus champion, winner take all match on this one. And these two are definitely going back and forth and trying to see who is going to be becoming the double champion. And in the end, we have, yes, Keith Lee, not only NXT North American Champion, but we also have him as the NXT Champion. And we're going to have the pyro and everything else, the championship celebration. So, you know, where does this go? We saw Karrion Kross looking in the background, possibly wanting to face Keith Lee at some point. That would be something to see, since Karrion Kross, you know, since his debut has been nothing but dope and badass. especially with Scarlett with him. So there's that. So there's quite a few people that could actually face Keith Lee. Of course, Adam Cole could probably win his rematch, I'm sure. And yeah, that's pretty much it for night 2 of NXT, the Great American Bash. So there is that. And the other topics, basically with the new United States Championship title design, which was recently revealed, and seeing that, I was really nervous, kind of had to close my eyes on that one, but it actually doesn't look too bad. I'm happy they're changing the championships. I'm hoping they will actually change the main roster world championships so they don't really look the same and everything. I know they're supposed to change the tag titles and everything, so you know, I really like the old design of the United States title, but that's just me on that. So, you know, with the new look, it doesn't look too bad, I will say that. And then with WWE 2K Battlegrounds, so far, from what I've been seeing, it kind of looks like a version of All Stars, so it's definitely something different. I think I might be getting it for my birthday month, so we'll see what happens with that. And I like the pricing on it too, because most games are pretty expensive, around 50 bucks. This is about like around 40 or so, so kind of wish like games would actually be around that price, but that's just me. And SummerSlam, of course, you know, trying to see where things were going to go, if it was going to go as planned for Boston. Unfortunately, it didn't get to happen. I know some people were looking to go. I would have liked to gone, because I never really been to SummerSlam, been to the Royal Rumble 2008 as my first pay-per-view. So, unfortunately, SummerSlam looking to be at the Performance Center. It's kind of getting old at this point. I actually miss them being on the road, and it sucks because, you know, that's where they're going to be staying for most likely the remainder of the year and everything. So, it is what it is, and 2020 literally sucks on that. And I know WrestleCade was able to be canceled, and that was just heartbreaking on its own. So no wrestling shows for this year, unfortunately, and definitely going to be missing that. So we'll see what 2021 brings at all. And the next thing, rebuilding the women's tag team division, on my thoughts and everything. Hopefully they actually do that and bring some more women's tag teams. I feel like they can do that, especially for the women's tag team titles. Hasn't really been done too much, but you know, it's getting a little bit back up there. So I would like to see teams from all brands, especially both NXTs for NXT and NXT UK and everything. So, and have some more storylines out of that. So I think that would be definitely well needed, and we'll see which other women's tag teams could be coming. It's been awesome having the Iconics back. We have Sasha and Bailey doing their thing, so that's a start and everything. So we'll see. And then, of course, with Slammiversary, which will be coming up, and to see who will be being able to be revealed as one of the people that will be coming back for the main event and everything for the world title, who's the mystery person, and I'm sure other people from like WWE who are released are looking to actually be there and stuff. So I don't know, so far I think EC3, I think that's my best guess as of right now, in terms of that, to see who would be the mystery opponent for the world title. But it could be anybody at this point. That's just my guess on it. So what are yours? Definitely leave that in the comments if you're watching this / listening to this on YouTube as well. And if you're actually checking this out on Anchor and on Spotify, just tweet me at InTheHotSeat89 and we'll talk about it on Twitter. So that's pretty much everything else I wanted to talk about for AEW Fyter Fest, NXT Great American Bash, and everything else. So for episode number 4, had quite a bit, and trying to combine stuff as well as I go along and everything. Hopefully we'll do a review on Impact Wrestling Slammiversary, and of course with Extreme Rules coming up as well. So there's that and other stuff to be really talked about, whatever else comes to mind. So hopefully you enjoy your week, and as well, what are your thoughts on everything that I talked about. And until then, continue to support as well on YouTube. Continue to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell as always, and leave your thoughts in the comments as well. Of course, if you're listening to this, like I said, on Anchor and Spotify, just follow me on Twitter and we'll talk.
got it. Tryna go diamond. Okay, forget it, I got it. Okay, forget it, I got it. You kids ain't really about it. I stay posh, I'm tryna go diamond. Okay, forget it, I got it. Okay, forget it, I got it. These boys ain't really about it. I stay side tryna overaccomplish. Okay, forget it, I got it. Don't worry, I got it for real. Don't worry, I'm honest as hell. Don't worry, I keep it a bill. Honestly, feel you finna go fail. So when you say my name, you better go chill. Never know when, you never know where, but chances are I run it in there. Something's weird, you shit in my tracks for a couple of years. Now you love it when you suckers appear. Think I got a motherfucking idea. Oh yeah, and I got another one here. Ain't for effort, but you never compare. I just got this devilish stare. So what my reflection said in the mirror. But after this, but the all be